Welcome everyone, you're listening to the Legally Insightful podcast. My name is Chris and thank you for tuning in. Today we are talking all the top stories that have happened in this past week. Firstly, up in China, a wedding has gone a little bit of awry when a woman finds out that her son's bride is her actual long-lost daughter on her wedding day. Yeah, that's right. The mother of the groom was attending her son's wedding and found that her bride had a interesting birthmark on one of her hands, which was similar to her lost daughter's hand. So after spotting the birthmark, the woman approached the bride and asked, where are you from? And found out, that the lady was actually adopted and 20 years ago. This probably in most cases would have ended the wedding, but it didn't for one very important detail. It turns out the groom himself was actually adopted as well. So it has been met with one of those sort of happy and sad sort of situations. The bride is still, obviously the wedding didn't go ahead just yet, but the bride is concerned about marrying, whether or not she should be able to marry her elder brother. However, the family doesn't object to it. So I suppose that's all good for them. In other news, a school in Perth in Australia has banned the mullet hairstyle, labelling it as unacceptable and offensive to their grooming standards. This has been met with a bit of an uproar in Australia, as the mullet hairstyle is probably one of the more beloved hairstyles out there, especially in certain areas in Australia where this school is as well. But it's not the first case. It is a very, very, very common hairstyle. That is why in February this year, another school also banned the mullet as well, labelling it as unacceptable. I guess it's probably a bit of a gateway hairstyle. So if you have that, you might get, maybe 6 years down the track, you might end up looking like Russell Brand. Who knows? In other news, a drug dealer was arrested over the weekend while he gave a fake name to police, but it turns out that fake name also had warrants. That's unlucky. That's unlucky. It reminds me of that time in Family Guy when he makes up his fake name and it turns out to just be his real name. Well, that's what this happened with this guy. He gave them a fake one who turned out to have more warrants for his arrest than this guy that was holding the drugs. So it was an unfortunate coincidence. They did later find out his name, so he's not going to get arrested for those. In other news, in Nebraska, a big fight with people named Josh is coming up as a horde of dudes named Josh fight for the right to name themselves Josh Supreme. There's also $7,000 being raised on a part of this. It's all started with some guy that I think it was a couple of years ago, or exactly 1 year ago, he added everyone he could find named Josh on Facebook and started a group and said, let's have a fight on these coordinates at this time, at this date. There's no word yet whether or not an actual Josh has won yet, but we are excited to find out. Finally, in other news, police officers have found a missing Nintendo Switch in Utah and turned it in and returned it to its rightful owner. But first, they beat all the high scores and spent all the coins. That's probably an apt punishment for someone that's lost their Switch, but it will annoy them for a lot longer than you'd think. All right, guys. Well, thank you. That is all that I have time for today. Please follow us. You can like me on Instagram at Legally Insightful, or just visit our website at legalyinsightful.com. Thank you. Bye.